Who needs a crusher when you've got Demolition Derby and the kind of action we're seeing in our New England Slam Chowder program tonight live on TNN. Number 63 there, Tom Simpson, caught in a sandwich. He's an experienced guy, and he breaks away. Look at him just weaving like a shark down through it. Oh, my Lord, what do we got?
We have a problem.
Well, they have a problem.
Number 76 there, that's Curtis Giardino again. I'm butchering his name, and I shouldn't do that. He's Italian. I should know that better. Giardario.
Oh, boy. I'll tell you, 64 has taken some shots. Rory Buckham, the door completely caved in. In fact, you can just tell by the appearance of the automobiles how much more speed and hitting power is being generated out there. 67 tries to escape after getting knocked around pretty good. That's our trip battery Chuck Buckham.
Now, I wonder if this is kind of a stall technique. You know, like they huddle up like that to just try to say, okay, yeah, I'm fighting. I want to save my car. This guy's smoking here, number 60. That's 64. That's Larry. There's smoke. Guess what follows? Fire. There you go. Number 76. That's my buddy, Curtis Diodario. I got it that time. There's a fire underneath there. That's number 74. That's Scott Martin.
Hey, Curtis.
That is Scott Martin there.
Scott saying, we have a problem down here. I'll get a little heat to the floorboard. Can I get a little help out here?
That looks like an oil fire. It's dripping out from under the engine there.
Let's go down to Bobby Gerald. He's at the scene of the firefighting.
Firefighting, and it's crazy down here, Steve. I'm going to tell you right now that this is the wildest because it's so close and compact down here to the racetrack. I think we should get maybe some hazard pay for being down here. What do you think about that? I don't know. Let me show you the best appearing car trophy. Nice little clock right there. Here are some of the other trophies that the guys are going to win tonight. You win a heat race, you get a trophy that looks like this. You finish second tonight, you get a trophy that looks like this. And then, oh, look at that one. Now, that's the tall one. That's the one that everybody wants right there. That's for the first place champion tonight. And maybe more importantly than that, guys, a trip to the Intergalactic Crunch-Off in San Jose, California. That's what they really want.
Yeah, and Baxter Doty won that beautiful best appearing car trophy. One to be akin to our buddy Brad Doty. Doty's a Doty. Look at the fireworks in the background. Ooh!
Have we got it all or what here?
Ooh!
Very. Look at that. Is that patriotic American fight? Are we good or what?
I'm a sucker for
those girls and boys in the booth. Ooh. And there's plenty of fireworks down on the field.
Absolutely. Stop it. I've been on the road a long time. 62.
Fireworks.
Jim Man.
Here we go. Ooh. Trick.
No. Ooh. Whoa, that was. I've never seen one of those.
There's another one.
These are incredible.
Are those geometric explosions?
Were we distracted by that? No. This is our focus. Oh, no. Slam Chowder. And they have slammed.
I think we're coming to the end of the race.
Well, Chuck Buckham, he's having a hard... Whoa, Chuck, he got it relit. Was he playing positive?
I think he's on fire as well, Steve.
Well, he's knocked our camera out, that's for sure. He's reaching down there trying to shift that thing with his hand and trying to run the throttle probably with a cable or a coat line.
Anything he can.
Line, yeah. And now he's got it stuck. His problems have been compounded. What are you doing down there, Chuck?
What is he digging for? He's got to be digging for something.
I think he's trying to get it into reverse.
He's at it.
Change gears manually down there. Watch. See if it goes reverse.
Yeah, he's stuck in gear. He's trying to get it out of gear. And we have sparks.
Well, Chuck is pretty well stuck under the 61 car in front, stuck in the sand in the back. So I think we'll gaze elsewhere with our mini cameras. Right back to the sky. Oh, man. They know how to do it, the Big E, don't they? This is opening night at the Eastern States Expo. Bobby, are those fireworks big boomers? We can't hear them in here.
The fireworks are big boomers, but Dutch and I are trying to get out of the way all this sand that everybody's kicking up down here. Dutch, between dodging sand and parts off the racetrack, who'd you like in that one?
Well, 62 and 64 and 67 are way up there. I think 62 is going to have it.
62 will probably have it, and we'll be talking to the winner before you know it.
Oh, we'll know it, Bobby.
Okay.
Well, there's one guy that's pretty confident as he bails out of his car. Who's that?
I'm not sure. Is that Jim Mann? Jim Mann was the number 62 car.
Lots of neat stuff going on. A lot of guys trying to impress the judges that I've won and you know it kind of body language, huh?
I think they're trying to impress them that way, but we don't know. We'll see after this.
We'll be right back.
He's a demolition derby man. He's all the wreck one car can stand. And every woman here is a Bondo fan.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, gang, we're back live at the East Coast Expo, opening night of the biggest fair in New England. All 6 states collaborating to put on a heck of a show. Not only the Demolition Derby, we thank them for all of their cooperation. It has been some of the finest we have seen all year long. And also another big thanks for turning night into day to Musco Lighting out of Iowa. And Dan, I don't know if you know this, though, but they've been signed to light Daytona International Speedway for night racing. It will be the largest lighting project in the history of the world. And only Musco is up to that task. Should be cool.
Well, they've provided us great lights throughout the year, that's for sure.
The Pepsi 400 will now be at night. You can bet on that in July in Daytona. All right, Dan, you do the honors.
Okay, we have the official results here, and I expected Jim Mann, number 62, won it. Runner-up to Larry Bucknam, 67 Charles Bucknam, third, 77 Joel Fishkin, fourth, and the alternate Dan McPherson. Well, Dan got back in there. He was struggling there for a while, but let's go check in with Bobby with the winner.
That's right, Dan. I'm down here with a guy that I'm told they call the streaker. His name is Jim Mann. And Jim, I don't know about that streaker thing. Does streaking compare to winning a Derby heat?
Oh, absolutely. There's nothing like either one of them, boy. I tell you, especially when your mother's chasing you after she was in the front row the whole deal. She was not a happy camper.
Tell me about the war now. You were out there doing some hitting against the Bucknam guys.
I'm going to kick their butt. They're good, but we'll see what happens. We'll see if Georgie gets in the next heat, but he's pretty good.
All right, Jim Mann and his girlfriend both going to be in the final, and they will be looking after Steve Bucknam Sr. in the next heat. But right now, let's go to Tim Wilson.
I'm with second place in that heat, Larry Bucknam.
Yeah.
Larry, this is a 67 Coronet.
Dodge Coronet.
Dodge Coronet. I never heard of that car, but I tell you what, you were sloshing gasoline all out of the bottom of this thing. How are you going to get the gasoline to stay in it when you get into the final?
Stuff rags in it. It's a speller spout fell out. I was just looking at it.
You put rags in it, and that'll make it go.
Hopefully.
Well, maybe those people that are hanging rags out of their car in Georgia, maybe they're not as dumb as I thought they were. Congratulations, Larry.
Thank you.
Let's keep this war going down here.
I'm trying. I'm trying.
Back upstairs to the boys.
Isn't a rag the fuse for a Molotov cocktail?
That's what I always used to think.
Oh, baby. Spare me the rags. Okay. Let's go back down to Charlotte. Steve, I don't think you've ever stuck a rag in your gas tank when you left the cap on the pump, have you?
Negative, and not to brag, but I am now 2 of 3 in my ones to watch. Jim Mann, number 62, was first. Thank you very much. We're going to come back and talk more with Vic Whaley Jr. and Kevin Huggins as we promote the Intergalactic Crunch-Off on October 17th in San Jose, California, the Super Bowl of Demolition Derbies. Welcome back, everybody. Steve Burns along with Vic Whaley Jr. and Kevin Huggins. Their fans are watching at Whaley's Bar and Grill. Is that it, your buddies?
Yep.
Hey, now, the Intergalactic Crunch-Off, October 17th. I mentioned that you guys are from Coulterville, Illinois. That's a long way to go. What does that involve for you guys?
3 or 4 days traveling to get there. Depends on what all we have to take.
Well, is that 2,000 miles, I guess? That's a haul.
Yeah, it is.
But on the other side of the coin, it's a long way to go, but once you get there, over $13,000. That's in cash and, other incentives. That's a big payday for your sport.
Right. Yeah, it is. Biggest one I've ever seen.
Now, Vic, you're being kind of humble. A minute ago, you said it was money in the bank. You're getting all shy now. A minute ago, it was money in the bank.
Yeah, but the TV wasn't in my face then.
And you didn't want to fire up any of your other competitors, I bet.
No, not really.
A little psychological warfare.
Uh-huh.
What about you, Kevin? You looking forward to going out there?
Yeah, I think it'd be a nice trip. Be a nice time.
All right. Well, listen, next week It's the Pontiac. All right, ASA Racing, right now we're going to go back to the Slam Chowder. And my pick, as I said, I'm 2 for 3, guys. This time it's number 81, George the King Bucknam from Rochester, New Hampshire, only a few years younger than his uncle Stephen Crash Bucknam Sr. George has over 200 trophies, just like Richard Petty, so he has to be the king, but that makes him a regional powerhouse in Derbyland, but he often goes his own way, so don't count on him teaming up with Uncle Steve. What do you think, Steve Evans?
Risk taker. I mean, aren't you proud of Steve Burns going out on a limb and selecting a guy in his sport called the King?
Yeah, and also anybody from the Bucknam family, considering there's already 4 that have made the final.
4 Bucknams and a possible 5th could come out of heat number 4, where we have Stephen Buckman Sr. will be participating. The Midway on opening night will be jammed, I guarantee, as soon as this demo derby is over. Hey, Bobby Gerald, it's a beautiful night. You having fun?
We're having a lot of fun, and the war's just starting to heat up. Now, Steve Bucknam Sr., we talked to him early in the show, and now the time has come, Steve. We're getting ready for the 4th heat. You've seen everything that's transpired in the first 3 heat races. Are you pumped for yours?
Oh, yeah, I'm pumped. We're 3 for 3.
3 for 3. You got 3 Bucknams in the final now.
My son, 2 nephews made the final, and now I'm going there. My other nephew.
It's guaranteed?
Guaranteed.
It's a lock?
I'm here to win this show.
I could bet the house?
You can bet the house on me, brother.
You got it. I'm calling the wife. Tim?
I'm with the number 94, Brian Medeiros. Brian, the Bucknams say they're going to run you people off the track.
They don't have a chance. They don't have a chance. They got the kid here. Kid's only been in a few, but he knows who's his adversary.
Well, before you get in this, Brian, you might want to put on a helmet.
Well, I probably should, but probably won't need it with Steve Buckman.
Fierce competition down here.
No,
and you know, Steve,
it's not even competition.
Hey, if the fight breaks out, you're a little skinny.
That's all right. Size doesn't matter. It all matters what's in your hat.
What's in your hat? Back to Steve Evans.
Yeah, I was wondering if you were ever going to be done. You know that Steve Buckman Sr. almost didn't participate because they wouldn't let him use his 603, his traditional number that he has, you may have noticed, tattooed on his arm. This could get good. Demolition Man.
The gentle for.
A 19th century blacksmith looks romantic, but I bet you they treat you the same way a 20th century mechanic does. Sir, my horse threw a shoe out on the interstate, and I was wondering if you could fix it for me. Well, I can't get to it today. I got 4 covered wagons backed up out there. I got a cartwheel I got to balance. My help called in sick. He can't come in. I got customers waiting. We might be able to get the parts for your horseshoe, but I may have to order them, and if it ain't under warranty, I just don't know if I'm going to be able to get to it today. It's the same as it always is. 30 cents worth of pot metal, and they stick it to your own labor.
Oh, Tim Wilson, you got to love him. I mean, the guy belly dances. He talks to chickens. Well, if you're a racer and you like games like Tim Wilson, check out TNN. Are you convinced? Buy the thing, man. That's what Kyle Petty says. All right, back with Vic Whaley and Kevin Huggins for a quick assessment of the action we've seen so far, guys. What about the racetrack?
It's smaller than normal. They're not tearing their cars up as fast as the bigger tracks do.
And Vic, I know you like the big ones.
I like to hit people hard.
Any particular strategy you'd have if you were at the Slam Chowder?
No, you pretty well concentrate on your main spots you want to hit them, but just can't get up the speed you need.
What would be the spots you go after?
Mainly the tires. If you take their tires out, you pretty well got them beat.
All right, good deal. Let's go back now to Steve Evans and Dan Pastorini in West Springfield, Massachusetts.
Well, I think this smaller track takes just a little different technique, because looking at the cars, it's certainly not easy. You know, Productions, who organized this Slam Chowder, would like to remind everybody in the East Coast that there'll be Demolition Derby and Stock Car Football September 20th and 27th at the Bloomsburg Fair in beautiful Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania. And let's have a look at the grid for our fourth and final heat here of Slam Chowder. And don't you know, George, the Demo King Buckman is going to be the guy to watch in number 81. He says it's a lock. Can't even take his picture. Richard Horton, number 82 from Melrose, Massachusetts. Number 83, Bobby Stymus. Riding in car number 84 will be Nathan McDonald from West Bridgewater, Massachusetts. Rich Predmore from Vineyard Haven, Mass. in the 85 car, then followed by Robert DaCosta in the 86 machine. Jeff Blake with an 84 Chevy Caprice. He's a 9-year veteran. He's in the 87 car. From Agawam, Mass. is 88 Fran Pico. And carrying the one of two crash cams is number 89, better known as number 603, Stephen Bucknam Sr. says he can't be beat. Number 90, Michael Peddle, whose motto is wide open until you see God, then brakes. I like it. Number 91, Jim Consolvo from East Hartford, Connecticut. We got Richard Davis, the old road warrior. Thomas Simpson Jr., just 19 years of age, the youngest driver, I think, here tonight. And we got Brian Medeiros. You saw him earlier. You'll see him again this time with a crash cam. Number 95, Hank Galante. Jason Marino, number 96. And added on to the tail of the field, number 97, Russell Reynolds of Massachusetts. Okay, heat number 4. They're getting ready. There's our prison guard. He still looks mad. Everybody pretty pumped up. The last shot at getting into the main event. We'll bring it to you live when we come back. Back at the Big E in Springfield, Massachusetts. I'm Steve Evans along with Dan Pastorini in the booth. We talked about your first demo derby in the Astrodome where you were second. Then you ran another one.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to have a really good Armenian team. I had to get the Armenian Destruction Derby team in to come down to Dallas, and that was Manny Sweetcakes Asadurian, Lee the Cook Donabedian, and Frank the Schnoz Deneri. He's Italian, but we had to add an N onto his name and convert him to Armenian that night. So
how'd you do that night?
Here we go.
And you won that night, right?
Yes, we did.
All right, who's going to win heat number 4?
Well, if it's like usual, a Bucknam or a Bucknam will win it.
Well, Stephen Bucknam Sr. saw cocky, not cocky, confident he was.
There's a shot of number 94, Brian Medeiros there. There's a good shot of our in-car cam. That's Steve Bucknam Sr. there, number 89 with his onboard camera.
Look at this. He certainly already got a lot. Oh, and 85 came out there and he shouldn't have.
2 and 1 shot.
Yep, 85 regrets doing that. Rich Predmore.
Oops, number 88. That was a good shot on Medeiros there.
Number Pico.
Yeah, great shot. Put up right there. Number 87. Jeff Blake.
You know, Dan, the track is still the same size, but it is faster. There's less dirt on it. It's dried out, and they're hooked up.
These guys seem to be moving a little bit better, too. These are the more experienced drivers in the final heat, and they really do a better job.
These are all previous champions. And you can see the difference. Thomas Stevens Jr., that 19-year-old kid, he came to play.
Yes, he did.
Came to hit. Brian Medeiros.
Is that Brian Medeiros? Here's number 88, Fran Pico. He's got a little problem there. There's the bumper being run over there by number 89.
And you know, if you're out there and your motor's disabled, you can wave off, and they're not supposed to hit you anymore. But they can't then change your mind and say, whoop, it's running again. Oh, can't do that.
That would be kind of...
Oh, did you see the neck? Oh, man, what a whip. Brian Medeiros. On board with Brian. Look out, Brian!
Ooh, right over the top. That was,
man, listen to the crowd roar in the background. 81 came in like a vulture just to get a piece of it. Bobby Stymus.
97, that's Russell Reynolds. Russell was a last-minute entry. And
Russell, what are you doing, boy? I mean, he's got smoke, steam coming out of every orifice of this machine. The crowd's loving the news, Dan.
He's not long for this race, I don't think.
No, I don't think so either. But he's going to give it hell as long as he's out there.
How can he breathe in there?
And he's got a door missing, and these doors are chained on. We're going to have another shot of this.
Here he comes. That was the shot he put on. That was Stephen Bucknam Sr.
Well, there you see the door gets peeled off.
He almost almost took off our in-car camera there on the top of Steve's car.
Makes the engineers very nervous.
They're very expensive. He must have ruptured an oil pan or something when he went over the top of that car.
I bet there's no fluids left in that.
Yeah.
They see the chain on a decker. That's how they try to keep them down. I say this is the hardest hitting heat of the night. We have saved the best for last in the heat department.
There's number 94.
Oh, look out.
Okay, this is 89, Steve Bucknam Sr. here.
He took a shot.
Yes, he did. And you know what? The car we saw earlier there, if we get a replay on it, Brian Medeiros looked like he was stuck in the mud over there, the dirt, that one big pile, and he was having trouble getting out.
Well, Steve Bucknam, he's having a problem. They've got him boxed in. See the camera right there? The starter of falling forward.
There he is.
There he is. He finally got loose. Gonna go lick his knees. He's gonna come back. I don't think Bucknam's licked her bad. Of course, shows you where good.
I don't think they bleed.
I don't think they don't have any blood.
No.
Nice one.
I don't think they have a heart. I think they have something gizzards.
Bobby Stymus, he got himself between a proverbial rock and hard place, and it's a Plymouth and a Chrysler.
And we've got a red flag on the track.
Red flag is out. Apparently, there is a problem either with the driver or an automobile that needs to be taken care of. There's so much steam and smoke, it's like going to Yosemite.
There's our number 94 car.
Yellowstone.
Brian Medeiros is up against the wall.
Well, I tell you what, if there was an award for acrobatics in heat number 4, he would get it hands down.
Russell Reynolds did a pretty good job as far as the stunts were concerned, too. He came right over the top of Medeiros' car.
You know, and it's a possibility that the checker could come out during this red flag period. We won't know that here for a little bit because about 5 minutes remains in it. All right. When we come back, we'll tell you how Stephen Buckman, if he survived, if he can restart and live up to his legend.
He'll hit you with a gas floor, hit you against the dashboard, there goes your bumper. Had to get the wrecker worn. You feel like an Iraqi in the desert storm.
1 minute melee.
Well, the red flag continues to be displayed here in the final heat, number 4 at our New England Slam Chowder in Springfield, Massachusetts. And the reason for the red is apparently Russell Reynolds, the 97 car, that yellow car that executed such a hit on Brian Medeiros, is unconscious, and they're tending to Russell right now. Bobby Gerald, what's the story down there?
Well, here's what we can tell you so far. We believe that Russell Reynolds was momentarily knocked unconscious. We believe that he is now conscious, and members of the safety crew are down here working with him. He's from Brockton, Massachusetts, drives number 97, and obviously took a pretty big hit down here. Now, a lot of the other drivers also very concerned about Russell, even Steve Bucknam Sr. You know, we'd seen the rowdy side of Steve, but he is obviously very concerned about Russell. As a matter of fact, he asked me, he said, "I didn't do that, did I?" And he's been yelling out of his car, "Come on, Russell, come on, Russell." So the guys are concerned about Russell. We think that he's going to be okay. The safety crew right now is inside of the car and working to get Russell out of there. And so we'll hope for the best, and we'll update you as soon as we get any more news.
And Dan Pasternak, you know from football, a lot of that is just bravado.
Yes, absolutely. You know, these guys are very tight. We had the opportunity to walk around the pits today, Steve, and you saw the camaraderie and the friendly badgering and everything like that. But, you know, nobody likes to see anybody get hurt, and hopefully he's going to be okay. This is the replay. This is the hit that he put on Brian Medeiros in car 94, and this is when he pulls away. I'm not so sure that this didn't kind of knock him a little bit unconscious, but when he pulls away, you'll notice there's an awful lot of smoke, and he might have had a little smoke inhalation there, whatever that might be. That could be hot steam from a radiator. And this is after the crash here, and this is him kind of wandering around. Now, let's see, that's a lot of smoke in there.
Well, I tell you, it may be a short course, and the speed's down a little bit, but it certainly hasn't prevented a lot of incredible action here, Steve Burns. What do you think back there in Charlotte? What's your experts say?
Yeah, we're just talking to Vic and Kevin, and, you know, we joke around and have a good time, but, you know, that's pretty serious what's going on, and you're taking some pretty hard licks.
Yeah, you are. It takes a lot to get hurt in there, though.
I mean, is there anything you can do to any precautions you can take? I mean, I guess no racer thinks about injuries, but it is a part of what's going on.
Well, the other drivers, you just got to try to watch where you hit them at. Don't hit them in the door or anything.
And as we were saying, as we were watching, I mean, you guys are fierce competitors and you want to win, but you do care about the guys you're racing against.
Oh, yeah, you don't want to hurt none of them. You're all there to have a good time, but you want to beat them, but you don't want to hurt them, you know.
All right, well, we're going to take a short break right now and come back with more. We'll check in with Steve Evans and Dan Pastorini and preview the Intergalactic Crunch-Off on October 17th. We'll be right back. Go back to the Slam Chowder in just a minute and check on our injured driver. But first, let's talk about the Intergalactic Crunch-Off, the Super Bowl of Demo Derby. Well, now it's going to be international. Our neighbors are watching TNN and will be coming down from the Great White North to battle it out in San Jose. Let's take a closer look at the Canadian team as they introduce themselves on home video.
My name's Terry Wildman Weaver. We're up here in the Great Canadian North at the secluded headquarters of the 1997 Can-Am Team Champions. Now, we're going to take a little sneak behind the scenes. We're going to meet the drivers and the crew and just show you why they're the legends among the drivers here in the Pacific Northwest. Also, we're going to go up into the shed, see how things are done, and just show you why it is these drivers are the winningest drivers in the sport of demolition derby here today. So stick with me. Let's get to her, eh? All right, here we are in the famous shed of the Canadian team here, and what we're going to do is we're going to meet the drivers, like I said, and we just want to talk to each one of them. And wait a minute now. They're in the middle of a strategy meeting. Let's take a peek. Come on. Look at you. Sandbagging. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What's wrong with you guys? Don't you know any better? Don't you know your front from your back? Come on, let's get with it. So this time I'd like to introduce you to the man who makes it all happen, the key player behind it all, the crew chief, the team captain, Mr. Ross Edwards. Ross, good to meet you. Good to meet you, Terry. So tell us, Ross, how long have you been the captain of this team?
30 years.
30 years, that's amazing. Now, how after all that time do you keep it as a team?
Well, our boys go to church on Sunday. They sleep together, eat together. They just do everything together. They just love each other. They take all their aggressions out on the track. And by doing so, these guys have no problems with working together. I mean, we have the whole crew. One does transmissions, rear ends, diffs, tires. Each guy splits up the job, and everybody works together.
So now we meet the man, number 174, Sean Edwards. He's the lubrication technician of the show. You've seen the infomercials, you've seen it all, but this stuff here, this is what makes these motors churn. Sean, what exactly is this stuff?
Well, all I can say, it's Mom's secret brew. It's made on the wood stove at home.
All right, now it's time to meet Darren Chorney. He's the driveline specialist. All right, Darren, I see you're putting duct tape around the differential. How come we're doing that?
You expect me to give all the secret to it?
All right, so here we are. This is the fuel tank that's going to run the championship car. I can't tell you what the fuel in it. I've made an oath to the team that we can't reveal what they're running in it, but we are going to put some additives in here, and if you can figure it out, hey, by all means. Our fuel technician, Huey McDonald, go ahead. Show us how it's done. Show us what you're putting in here. All right, there we go. This is the fuel. This is going to make the car run hot. Yeah. Well, that about sums it up. You met our drivers, you met the crew chiefs, heck, you even met Mad Dog McCree. We took you up to the shed, we showed you all our tricks of trade and secrets. And I guess it's time to get down to business. I got one little word of warning to all you other drivers in the Intergalactic Crunch-Off. Nothing feels like Canadian steel. Good luck to you. Good day, eh?
I don't think Vic and Kevin are too intimidated by the Great White North there. Again, October 17th, the Intergalactic Crunch-Off in San Jose, California. Now, 2 weeks ago, we derbied in Reno, Nevada for the Western States Smash-a-thon. And tonight, we bring you our Wagner Job Well Done recipient, Kelly Lampe. All right, it's time now to go back to Steve Evans and Dan Pastorini and check on the condition of Steve Bucknam, who was hurt in that accident. How's he doing, guys?
Well, we get a encouraging report, actually, that he's conscious and talking to the paramedics and didn't want them to cut the roof off his car with the jaws of life, which they probably did anyway. But right now, we can show you, Dan Pastorini, how they ended Heat 4 under red.
The final results, number 1, George Bucknam, 81. 87, Jeff Blake finished second. 89, Steve Bucknam Sr. finished third. 93, Tom Simpson Jr. finished fourth. And then the alternate, 91, Jim Consalvo. And I think that Bobby may have an update here for us on Russell Reynolds was the injured driver. And he evidently, Bobby, you got some news for us.
That's right, Dan, and it was Russell Reynolds, not Steve Buckman Sr., who was injured here. They've just taken Russell out of the car. They're transporting him into the ambulance. He's going to take a visit to the local hospital. He is conscious, and we believe there was one report that maybe it was smoke inhalation. We believe that actually he just took a pretty good hit there behind the wheel of number 97. Just one more item here on this guy. He's actually a hero. Just a few months ago, he saved his family from a house fire. The house caught on fire, broke into the house, and saved his family. So this guy evidently is a hero. Russell Reynolds, one of the Brockton bunch, and he evidently works for Regal Auto Parts. So he was involved in that big buildup, and things got a little rough out here during the fourth heat, guys.
Yeah, they did, and as far as the Buckmans were concerned, it wasn't brag. It was all just backed, as that family becomes a huge powerhouse in the main event coming up. But when we come back live to the Big E, it's finally going to be time. Dan will call it live. Stock Car Football.
Just a moment ago, we saw that preview from the Canadian piece. A piece, obviously, they put together. As we said, this is international, intergalactic. Vic and Kevin were watching it. They've said they want to see it again. Let's take a look at the end of that piece.
Yeah. Well, that about sums it up. You met our drivers, you met the crew chiefs, heck, you even met Mad Dog McCree. We took you up to the shed, we showed you all our tricks of the trade and secrets. And I guess it's time to get down to business. I got one little word of warning to all you other drivers in the Intergalactic Crunch-Off. Nothing feels like Canadian steel. Good luck to you. Good day, eh?
Wrong words, boys. What do you think?
Oh, them being from Canada, they get out in California. I don't think they can handle the heat. We can get them.
Vic?
There's enough red, white, and blue out there to take them. They'll be going back to the outhouse.
That's what I like to hear. But we'll get back to Springfield in just a minute. Right now we have some viewer mail, and it comes to us from Vancouver, Canada once again. Craig Anskoff sends us this postcard. Now he says, "Dear Katie and Steve, my wife says your program Motor Madness is aptly named. It makes her mad because he would rather watch us than listen to her on Friday nights." And actually he's wanting us to suck up to her a little bit. He says, "Say hi to Norma, please, and send her a hat." Look at the arrows. They say we live right here overlooking the water. Well, good job, Craig. We hope that your attempt at sucking up to Norma helps. We're telling her hi. And oh, and also he says he's a Jeff Gordon fan. And Vic, I believe you said you're a Jeff Gordon fan.
Yes, I am. I think old Jeff he can win it.
All right. Hey, we want to keep hearing from you. Keep on sending us your letters. Send them to TNN Motor Madness, care of Viewer Services, 2806 Opryland Drive, Nashville, Tennessee, 37214. And we've also had fan cam action on Motor Madness this year, and we want you to keep on sending those in. Your favorite tailgates, best crashes, funniest moments of the track, whatever you have, we want it. Meanwhile, we've clipped together our favorite moments for the best of fan cam. We're going to put it on Motor Madness, and in just a minute we're going to check on the injured driver, Russell Reynolds. But meanwhile, Vic and Kevin have thrown down the gauntlet against the Canadians. They're not going to take it anymore. This is red, white, and blue, baby, right?
That's it. Right.
All right, we'll be back to check in with Steve Evans and Dan Pastorini right after this.
Houston, this is Commander Wilson.
One of the most exciting exhibits here at the Big E is the NASA International Space Exhibit. I love this place. Ow! You can float around in here. You know, Demolition Derby and space stations have one thing in common. Can you say mirror? We should invite the mirror people to the Intergalactic Crunch-Off in San Jose.
Houston, command control. Hello, Springfield. Steve, Dan, anybody? Hello?
Hello, Tim.
Hello?
Can you hear us? Tim Wilson might legitimately be an alien.
Houston, we do have a problem, and it's Tim Wilson.
And Tim, however, quickly got out of his spaceship to interview the winner of heat number 4.
I'm with number 81. Tell me your name.
George Bucknam.
George Bucknam, of the famous Bucknam people who are threatening people out here all night?
I guess so. That's what they say.
Well, you won that heat and you got the trophy to show it. Man, that was, I don't know what happened in the first heat, but this fourth heat was banging out there.
We had the track cleared up a little bit better and we could get more traction. That's what makes a better show.
Well, good luck with you people. Personally, I'm pulling for the Regal Auto Parts people, but don't hold that against me.
No, I won't.
I've got pull upstairs. Right, fellas?
Does he have pull up here, Dan?
I don't know. It's hard to believe him every now and then.
I tell you, that piece in the spaceship was unbelievable. Tim and the cameraman Jeff Kelly ought to get an Emmy for that. Let's go down to Bobby Gerald.
We are down in the pits, way in the way back. And we're standing next to Chuck Bucknam, who has a little problem with his right rear tire. They've been banging on stuff. Chuck, what are you doing here, and will you be able to make it for the final?
Yeah, I'm just trying to get some wheel clearance here. Once I get some clearance, I got to go, man. They're calling me.
All right, he's got to go. They're calling him. They're anxious to get into the final. All these guys want to be in the Intergalactic Crunch-Off, Tim Wilson.
Well, I'm over here with somebody who... Hey, they called off football. You better hurry up and get that welded. They called off football.
What?
They called off the football. Get in there and get to work.
Come on under and help me.
Hurry up. They called off football. I don't think he really cares about football. Boy, that light sure is bright. Well, I didn't really have anything to interview him about. But called off football. Over to Bob Gerald. Mr.
Oh, I heard something that I probably didn't want to hear there, Tim. I'm standing next to Eileen Donahoe, and Eileen, are you ready for this final?
I certainly am. My car's over getting finished up right now. I'm ready to get out there and win.
What did they do to your car between the heat races and now the final?
Changed the radiator, changed the bottom hose, lifted the back up, lifted the front up off of the front tire was scraping, changed a couple tires. That was it.
Did you watch any of these last heat races since you were out there?
No, I haven't had a chance to. I've been working on my car.
All right, it's probably better that you didn't see it because it was pretty brutal out there. Good luck to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Eileen's ready.
You better tighten up your seatbelt.
She is indeed. In fact, we're all ready for a main event. Tim already told you they called off football. We'll be right back. Be paid by the Holiday Inn downtown Springfield. Enjoy comfortable rooms and all the amenities. It's your home away from home when visiting Western Massachusetts. For reservations, call 413-781-0900.
I'm with number 46, pit crew Bill Hayes, father of Mark Hayes. What exactly are they doing here on this car? They got the fluorescent lights out, the lanterns out.
We're just trying to put the car back together because it took such a big beating in that last heat.
Any specific part that needs fixing?
Just about everything. Every wheel well, the engine, everything. The whole nose got pushed into the engine, back end got brought to the ground, bumpers got ripped off. We just put it all back together and get it out there to do the best we can.
Well, good luck, and we'll get out of your way.
All righty, thank you.
Back over to Bob Gerald.
Tim, check out the lack of damage to car number 34, driven by the first heat race winner, Mike Bernardi. Now, you know, there's some dents here, but relatively speaking, compared to what we've seen in the other heat races, this car is in a lot better shape. Would you consider that a big advantage here, Mike, going into the final?
I hope it'll help us a lot. You know, there wasn't a lot of front-end damage. The radiator's okay. The frame's not bent in the back. The crew did a great job getting whatever little stuff needed to be done. And we're going to try and win one for the crew and everybody at home and let them have the day off from work to come up here and do this.
You were racing in about 4 inches of sand when you were out there the first time, and now it's about maybe a 1/4 inch of sand. So how are you going to attack this?
Well, you have to protect the front end a lot better because the speeds are higher, and I wish the sand was there, but we'll go out there and give it our best.
All right, keep in mind that this guy was in the rookie and never have won class. So he's in for some tough competition here, Steve, against all these grizzlied veterans.
Grizzly veterans. As I said before, I thought some of the cars coming out of heat number 1 might have a bit of a mechanical advantage. Unfortunately, the stock car football will be held after we get off the air, but we'll bring you highlights of that in a later show. Right now, let's go back to Charlotte. Steve Burns.
All right, thanks, guys. You know, Vic, Kevin, I'm curious. You're going to go all the way from Coulterville, Illinois, to San Jose, California. What are you going to do for a crew out there? I mean, we just saw you got guys beating and banging parts and trying to get the cars ready. What are you going to do for a crew?
There's a lot of guys that likes to help us, so we could find somebody to go with us.
If not, we'll rely on one another.
So you guys work on each other's car then.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, when you're in a heat like that and you're trying to advance to the feature, do you ever get into a scramble where you can't get the car fixed in time? Sometimes it looks like a thrash.
Oh yeah, I've been there a lot of times.
Sometimes you just have to go.
Yeah.
Like they say, sit down and strap in and shut up.
Hold on.
Yeah. Just do the best you can.
And mash the gas.
That's right. Hold it to the floor.
All right, well, last time we had Western States Smash-a-thon from Reno, Nevada. Let's take a look at our rockin' replay. Lots of bent sheet metal at the Western States Smash-a-thon. Well, next week, they're hoping to keep the race cars clean because it's ASA action from Cedar.
Chicken knowledge, and it turned out chickens didn't know anything. Now that we're in Massachusetts, we're going to check cow knowledge. Question 1, what do you call it when you heat up milk to an extremely high temperature and cool it down to kill bacteria?
Pasteurization.
Where is your favorite place to eat?
Pasture.
Who is the greatest NFL quarterback of all time?
Joe Namath.
Oh, I'm sorry. The answer to that question would be Dan Pasturini. Now back upstairs to whoever's in the booth.
Well, we certainly know who the smarter of the two is there, and it's the cow.
Ooh, a long bomb.
I have to agree with the cow on that one. He wasn't a bad quarterback.
Well, our main event is just about to get underway. Mike Bernardi hopes he can pull it off from Hamden, Connecticut. Jason Stromsky, a strong entry, stronger than we thought, maybe in the 28 car from Massachusetts.
And then we've got to round up this first part of the field here. Will be Darren St. Jean from Methuen, Massachusetts, and number 29, Thomas Antonello.
Mark Hayes out of West Bridgewater, Mass. will be in the 46 car, and the only lady to enter, the only lady to get into the main, the only lady with a shot at winning it is Eileen Donahoe.
It's going to be interesting to see what she does against her boyfriend, Jim Mann. Number 51 is Steve Bucknam Jr. from Sunapee, New Hampshire. 44, Ray Giddings, Worcester, Massachusetts.
18 cars, 18 to 20 cars, and there's Jim Mann. I don't know if this could break up a romance, you know what I mean? 64, Larry Bucknam out of Lynn, Mass. in the 64 car. All of them earned their way into this main event.
Number 67, Charles Bucknam from Lynn, Massachusetts. And number 77, Joel Fishkin. Joel had a little problem making the grid, so we're going to see what's going to happen here. 91, just got word, Jim Consalvo is the replacement for him.
81, George Bucknam, another one of those boys from Rochester, New Hampshire. Jeff Blake out of West Swansea, New Hampshire. There's so many Bucknams, they're going to have to hit each other whether they like it or not.
And here's another one, Steve Bucknam Sr., the one that was talking all the trash earlier. And number 93, Tom Simpson, Avon, Massachusetts, the youngest player in the group.
So all the dirt that caused some problems has been pushed way off into distant memory. We've got maybe, like Bobby Gerald said, a half an inch or so of dirt on the pavement just to soak up all the coolant oil and other fluids that tend to run out of these cars under these conditions. And no one's got a clean horse here. Everybody took some serious shots. And there is Eileen's car, the purple car.
Number 67 is our other Charles Bucknam. He's our other in-car camera. And 89, we've got Steve Bucknam. So we've got two of the Bucknams with cameras, and we've got Eileen Donahoe with the other camera. It's going to be interesting to see. I hope we get some shots of Eileen taking a shot at her boyfriend, Jim.
You think that'll happen?
Guarantee it.
Ooh. And I think all bets are off. It's every Bucknam for himself.
I tell you,
right now.
They've got, what, 6 in there now? 6 Bucknams?
I don't know.
It's the Bucknams against the rest of the bunch.
Here we go. The green flag is out. There's no pacing yourself here. Let it rip. The main event of our New England Slam Chowder.
There's, okay, number 28. Good shot on number 62. It looks like number 45, Eileen Donahue's having a tough go there. She's up against the wall, which is not the spot we found out earlier to be.
No, George Buckner in the 81 car, we saw him hit and run. He's good at that. Eileen, she's got a huge problem there.
Yeah, she's kind of boxed in. It doesn't look like she's running too much, Steve.
They're going to pick on her.
Yeah. I guess these guys don't want a woman winning the Destruction Derby back here in the East.
Especially not the only one.
Not the only one.
Charles Buckner, he sure reaches down a lot and fiddles with that shift mechanism. That can't be the easiest way to drive one of these cars.
Probably shifting with his fingers in gears.
What we ought to do is maybe talk to our friends at Safety Equipment, see if they can come up with a special harness for these guys. Because they have to look over their shoulder. Sometimes they don't belt themselves in quite tight enough, and they take a lot of shots. Maybe somebody like Sentinel and the other major safety manufacturers could figure out a little ratchet kind of a harness or something.
Well, it kind of becomes like a quarterback running an open field. You put your head on a swivel and you start looking for linebackers.
Oh, I tell you what. Ms. Donahoe is back in the fray.
She certainly
Look at this. Didn't have much to fight with. Ooh, and I tell you, she just missed the driver's door there. That could have been a foul, but she cleverly avoided it.
She just put a hit on somebody back there. Is that Jim? What's Jim's number 62? No?
Go, girl, go.
She's doing good.
Yeah.
She's doing real good. She still has some of her lace. Look at that on the windshield.
Yep.
I'll tell you, she's not only a good fighter, she's a pretty fighter, the way she dresses.
Arsenic and old lace, right?
That sounds like a country western song.
There's one there. Now Greyhound's gone. Every time we think this young lady is done, she escapes. And there's the boyfriend in the yellow 62 car. That's Jim Mann.
I think he's avoiding her. You know that? He really is. He's not wanting to get close to her.
He doesn't want to get close to her.
She's all the way at the other end of the track.
Right there, yeah. Oh, body language, body language. Bonnie girl.
Come on, Bonnie. Come on, Elaine.
See, that's what she still has, the standard shift linkage on the column there. And once you get the front end hit real hard like that, as you know, it can bust that linkage off and you're stuck. You can't get it into the gear you want.
That's exactly right.
That's why a lot of the guys prepare the cars where they just have a forward and reverse manual shifter.
Mark Hayes there, number 46.
Oh, 29's going to take... thank you. He was
buried.
Yep, he was a sitting duck. Little mercy there. Ooh. Don't hit the Motor Ventus logo. That was Steve Bucknam. I'm telling you, if a Bucknam doesn't win this, the sun may not come up over New England tomorrow.
I think a Bucknam will win.
I don't know. I tell you, there's some pretty heavy hitters going on out there. Jim Mann won't be in one of them.
Well, Steve Bucknam there, number 89, doesn't look in real good shape. Number 32 is
Darren St.
Jean, and he's hung up on Steve's motor.
Hey, look at the wheels going around. Look at this.
Yeah, he's got it right up on top of his own motor. A lot of fluid.
Whoa, and he comes back for a little alternative hit. Bob Jarrell?
That's right, and it was almost on the driver's side. That might have cost Darren St. Jean some points in the 32 car. I believe that he's one of the leaders so far. Dutch Holland is standing here taking a look at the whole thing. And Dutch, who's looking good so far?
Well, like 32, 62, and 81 are doing real good job. 91's going to do good, too.
All right, those are 4 to keep your eye on. I heard the 32, the 62, I think the 81 and the 91 so far, guys.
Yeah, it's Darren St. Jean. Number 32, 62 is Jim Mann. Number 81 is George Bucknam.
Right there.
And number 91 is John Consalvo. They got a lot of fight in them, don't they?
Oh, they do. And here's 62, Jim Mann. He also may be having some shifting problems. I think he's stuck much like Eileen is.
Well, at least she's on the other end of the track, so they're not going to have any domestic problems after this race.
Well, a Mad Dog, number 32, Darren St. Jean, he was one of Dutch's favorites there here about midway through. And in a lot of demolition derbies over the years, I know fans at fairs are used to it being the last machine still moving. But for television purposes, that really isn't practical, so we've come up with a time situation. Sometimes it still will be the last car moving.
Kind of like King's X when we were kids.
Kind of like that.
You know, once you get way ahead, you can quit.
I could never get mine uncrossed. I just kept them crossed. Jim can look, she's just easy, girl.
She's trying to get that thing going.
She is.
It's amazing. She's got a lot of fight in her, but you never know. She can get that thing running again. She's come back from deeper doldrums than that.
Damage, the radiator's okay, the frame's not bent in the back. The crew did a great job getting whatever little stuff needed to be done, and we're going to try and win one for the crew and everybody at home and let them have the day off from work to come up here and do this.
you were racing in about 4 inches of sand when you were out there the first time, and now it's about maybe a 1/4 inch of sand. So how are you going to attack this?
Well, you have to protect the front end a lot better because the speeds are higher, and I wish the sand was there, but we'll go out there and give it our best.
All right, keep in mind that this guy was in the rookie and never have won class, so he's in for some tough competition here, Steve, against all these grizzlied veterans.
Grizzly veterans. As I said before, I thought some of the cars coming out of heat number 1 might have a bit of a mechanical advantage. Unfortunately, the stock car football will be held after we get off the air, but we'll bring you highlights of that in a later show. Right now, let's go back to Charlotte. Steve Burns.
All right, thanks, guys.
Quarterback. Well, our main event is just about to get underway. Mike Bernardi hopes he can pull it off from Hamden, Connecticut. Jason Stromsky, a strong entry, stronger than we thought, maybe in the 28 car from Massachusetts.
And then we've got to round up this first part of the field here will be Darren St. Jean from Methuen, Massachusetts, and number 29, Thomas Antonello.
Mark Hayes out of West Bridgewater, Mass. will be in the 46 car, and the only lady to enter, the only lady to get into the main, the only lady with a shot at winning it is Eileen Donahoe.
It's going to be interesting to see what she does against her boyfriend, Jim Mann. Number 51 is Steve Bucknam Jr. from Sunapee, New Hampshire. 44, Ray Giddings, Worcester, Massachusetts.
18 cars, 18 to 20 cars, and there's Jim Mann. I don't know, this could break up a romance, you know what I mean? 64, Larry Bucknam out of Lynn, Mass. in the 64 car. All of them earned their way into this main event.
Number 67, Charles Bucknam from Lynn, Massachusetts, and number 77, Joel Fishkin. Joel had a little problem making the grid, so we're going to see what's going to happen here. 91, just got word, Jim Consalvo is the replacement for him.
81, George Bucknam, another one of those boys from Rochester, New Hampshire. Jeff Blake out of West Swansea, New Hampshire. There's so many Bucknams, they're going to have to hit each other whether they like it or not.
And here's another one, Steve Bucknam Sr., the one that was talking all the trash earlier. And number 93, Tom Simpson, Avon, Massachusetts, the youngest player in the group.
So all the dirt that caused some problems has been pushed way off into distant memory. We've got maybe, like Bobby Gerald said, a ½ inch or so of dirt on the pavement just to soak up all the coolant oil and other fluids that tend to run out of these cars under these conditions, and no one's got a clean horse here. Everybody took some serious shots. And there is Eileen's car, the purple car.
Number 67 is our other Charles Bucknam. He's our other in-car camera. And 89, we've got Steve Bucknam. So we've got two of the Bucknams with cameras, and we've got Eileen Donahoe with the other camera. It's going to be interesting to see. I hope we get some shots of Eileen taking a shot at her boyfriend, Jim.
You think that'll happen?
Guarantee it.
Ooh. And I think all bets are off. It's every Bucknam for himself.
I tell you,
now.
They've got, what, 6 in there now? 6 Bucknams?
I don't know.
It's the Bucknams against the rest of the bunch.
Here we go. The green flag is out. There's no pacing yourself here. Let it rip. The main event of our New England Slam Chowder.
There's, number 28. Good shot on number 62. It looks like number 45, Eileen Donahoe's having a tough go there. She's up against the wall, which is not the spot we found out earlier to be.
No, George Bucknam, the 81 car, we saw him hit and run. He's good at that. Eileen, she's got a huge problem there.
Yeah, she's kind of boxed in. It doesn't look like she's running too much, Steve.
They're going to pick on her.
Yeah. I guess these guys don't want a woman winning the Destruction Derby back here in the East.
Especially not the only one.
Not the only one.
Charles Bucknam, he sure reaches down a lot and fiddles with that shift mechanism. That can't be the easiest way to drive one of these cars.
Probably shifting with his fingers in gears.
What we ought to do is maybe talk to our friends at Simpson Safety Equipment, see if they can come up with a special harness for these guys. Because they have to look over their shoulder. Sometimes they don't belt themselves in quite tight enough, and they take a lot of shots. Maybe somebody like Simpson or the other major safety manufacturers could figure out a little ratchet kind of a harness or something.
Well, it kind of becomes like a quarterback running an open field. You put your head on a swivel and you start looking for linebackers.
Oh, I tell you what. Ms. Donahoe is back in the fray.
She certainly
Look at this. She doesn't have much to fight with. Ooh, and I tell you, she just missed the driver's door there. That could have been a foul, but she cleverly avoided it.
She just put a hit on somebody back there. Is that Jim? What's Jim's number 62? No?
Go, girl, go.
She's doing good.
Yes.
She's doing real good. She still has some of her lace. Look at that on the windshield.
Yep.
I'm telling you, she's not only a good fighter, she's a pretty fighter, the way she dresses.
Arsenic and old lace, right?
That sounds like a country western song.
There's one there. Thank God, Greyhound, she's gone.
Every time we think this young lady is done, she escapes. And there's the boyfriend in the yellow 62 car. That's Jim Mann.
I think he's avoiding her. You know that? He really is. He's not wanting to get close to her.
He doesn't want to get close to her.
She's all the way at the other end of the track.
Right there, yeah. Oh, body language, body language. The Bonnie girl.
Come on, Bonnie. Come on, Elaine.
See, that's what she still has, the standard shift linkage on the column there. And once you get the front end hit hard like that, as you know, it can bust that linkage off and you're stuck. You can't get it into the gear you want.
That's exactly right.
That's why a lot of the guys prepare the cars where they just have a forward and reverse manual shifter.
Mark Hayes there, number 46.
Oh, 29's going to take. Thank you.
He's buried.
Yep, he was a sitting duck. Little mercy there. Ooh. Don't hit the Motor Ventus logo. That was Steve Bucknam. I'm telling you, if a Bucknam doesn't win this, the sun may not come up over New England tomorrow.
I think a Bucknam will win.
I don't know. I tell you, there's some pretty heavy hitters going on out there. Jim Mann won't be in one of them.
Well, Steve Bucknam there, number 89, doesn't look in real good shape. Number 32 is
Darren St.
Jean, and he's hung up on top of Steve's motor.
Hey, look at the wheels going around. Look at this.
Yeah, he's got it right up on top of his own motor. A lot of fluid.
Whoa, and he comes back for a little alternative hit. Bob Gerald?
That's right, and it was almost on the driver's side. That might have cost Darren St. Jean some points in the 32 car. I believe that he's one of the leaders so far. Dutch Holland is standing here taking a look at the whole thing. And Dutch, who's looking good so far?
Well, like 32, 62, and 81 are doing real good job. 91's going to do good, too.
All right, those are 4 to keep your eye on. I heard the 32, the 62, I think the 81 and the 91 so far, guys.
Yeah, it's Darren St. Jean, number 32. 62 is Jim Mann. Number 81 is George Bucknam.
Right there.
And number 91 is John Consalvo. They got a lot of fight in them, don't they?
Oh, they do. And here's 62, Jim Mann. He also may be having some shifting problems. I think he's stuck much like Eileen is.
Well, at least she's on the other end of the track, so they're not going to have any domestic problems after this race.
Well, a Mad Dog, number 32, Darren St. Jean, he was one of Dutch's favorites there here about midway through. And in a lot of demolition derbies over the years, I know fans at fairs are used to it being the last machine still moving. But for television purposes, that really isn't practical, so we've come up with a time situation. Sometimes it still will be the last car moving.
Kind of like King's X when we were kids.
Kind of like that.
You know, once you get way ahead, you can quit.
I could never get mine uncrossed. I just kept them crossed. Jim can look, she's just easy, girl.
She's trying to get that thing going.
She is.
It's amazing. She's got a lot of fight in her, but you never know. She can get that thing running again. She's come back from deeper doldrums than that. We'll find out right after these messages.
He's a demolition derby man. He's all the wreck one car can stand.
Today I set out to
do a lot of hitting and make it all count right now. It looks like a car graveyard out there. I think we've only got 2, maybe 3 cars running, and it looks like it's St. Jean and our girl going mano-a-mano right now.
Mano-a-mano or woman? Mana-a-mano.
Or something like that, yeah. We can give Bobby some Spanish lessons before we do anything south of the border. I think she's got to be the sentimental favorite right now in this booth and at home as well.
Well, she certainly has put up a great fight tonight. She's still taking them on out there and going head-to-head.
This would be... Yeah, 32, Darren St. It's almost become like a dance out there between Darren and Eileen.
That might have been the finishing blow. He kind of sandwiched her right up against the wall there by the 20-yard line. Mark Hayes, number 46.
And so like so many of these guys, his favorite sport is drag racing, and they almost all list John Force as their favorite driver. You know what? This could come down to the last car moving. And that last car moving just might be, well, the Lady Nat Allen.
You know what? She's at least going to have bragging rights over her boyfriend, Jim Mann. I mean, she's lasted a heck of a lot longer than he did.
Well, we don't really know because the judges grid off the playing field, and each concentrates on a certain area, and we can only see one area at a time, so sometimes we don't know what's going on down at one end of the stadium. All right, the checkered flag has mercifully come out on the main event, and Slam Chowder is now history. The only thing remaining is the judges' tally, and I bet you that lady got in the top 5.
Well, she certainly deserved it. She put up a good fight. She had that problem earlier, but she came back.
Look at all the handshaking going on. I think this has been a week of a lot of braggadocio going around, a lot of mudslinging, and now they're all just slapping hands and glad that maybe it's over. We'll be back to talk to the winner right after this. Well, certainly the rivalries, the Hatfields and McCoys and the others that we expected here in the Slam Chowder Demolition